YouTube is pulling, checking.
Miss Don Bradley.
Cool. Well, we'll go ahead and start the show since we're starting the show. And looks like we are live and streaming on both. Audio should be good on both. So we are live and on the air. So welcome everyone to the Foolish Tech Show. It is a lovely Wednesday afternoon, so you've made it halfway through the week. Congratulations. We're about to make it through another half of the week here starting soon. And we were a little bit delayed today because we were finishing up one thing here, and we are actually getting ready to push that out right now. So we'll go ahead and push that out since Nick said he is good, and we'll go ahead and announce it as well. So we are super excited to announce that CryptoPrevent version 8 will be released prior to Halloween. So by Halloween, you'll have CryptoPrevent version 8 out there protecting you from all the scary ransomware. We thought it was fitting for National Cybersecurity Awareness Month and also Halloween. So cool, right? If you have not tested it out yet, definitely go over to foolishit.com/CryptoPrevent-beta, and I will post that link here in the chat as well. And you can test out all the new features and how everything is working. We'll also have a new pricing plan going along with CryptoPrevent. We're actually taking away the lifetime licenses, so it will be you can purchase a year of the premium features or a 3-year bulk pack of the purchase premium features. And also we're bringing back white label. So you'll be able to have a white labeled copy where it'll show your company name, and you'll have a bunch more options that you can configure versus the standard bulk packs, and kind of direct people back to your store to get you some more recurring revenue if any issues come up and CryptoPrevent stops it for them. So they'll come back to you for support, and we have a page up for that, and I will post that page as well because we do have pre-orders of that since the version 7 does not have a upgrade path for it. So check it out. You can see the white label pre-orders and get 20% off the upcoming prices. Once release comes, these will go to the standard prices, as well as the prices that you would have seen on the email if you were signed up for our newsletter. I'll post it to our blog after the show. If you don't have our newsletter, you can check our blog after the show, and I should be able to have it posted up there. But otherwise, yeah, we're super excited about it. We feel really confident about where it's at right now, and we're ready for release. But we want to give you one last chance to stock up on some version 7 lifetime keys. That's right. You can get your version 7 keys, and they will last for the lifetime, so you won't have to worry about the year purchase or 3-year purchase. It will be forever lifetime purchase of the lifetime of the product. So check it out. Let us know what you think. If you have any questions, feel free to shout them out in the IRC chat here. That's what we're here for. Or you can always give us a call or email us and contact our support. I know that's a little bit jarbled probably because didn't have a lot of time to rehearse. Kind of finished it and got everything set and ready for the announcement right now. Anybody else have anything they wanted to add on that, or feel like I covered most of it?
Do you want to talk about the unlimited?
Yes, the unlimited is no longer going to be an option after version 8. So once version 8 is released, we will not have the unlimited option. And also, if you notice on our CryptoPrevent page, which I can also post a link for that of getting your copies. We do recommend that you call or contact us if you're interested in getting the unlimited version. That way we can talk with you about it and make sure everything is fully comfortable and set and ready for it. And the unlimited has gone down to the 20% off current price as well, where it was 40% off. Now it's down to the 20, and all of those prices are going to be going technically up, since they're going to be a year purchase or a 3-year purchase, depending on which options you go with. So check those out, and yeah, I think that covers it all. Yeah, it's an awesome deal. Thanks, Shuk. So I think that covers it all. We're super excited about some of the new features coming out with CryptoPrevent 8. We'll go ahead and just kind of shout those out here. We have the new folder watch protection, and that monitors any folders for files that match one of our completely redone and updated and refreshed hash definitions. Then we have honeypot detection, which is going through the folder watch to offer even further last line of defense protections against keeping your data from being encrypted, even if you do get a ransomware on there and it passes all of your other blocks. This one will hopefully prevent that from being able to encrypt majority of your data, we feel. But it depends on computers and various things. But so far in our testing, it has done extremely well. If anyone out there is willing to test that a little bit more with a more live system or outside test environment, definitely do and report back to us. We even had a third party testing it over the weekend, and he was absolutely loving it. So hopefully he'll come out with a public announcement about that later, and we can talk and link about that. But otherwise, we're super excited about that feature. It seems to be working really well with how we have it implemented. Then we also have tray icon, and you can change your settings quickly and easily from there, and also access Kill 'em all. And we have Kill 'em all integrated there. And we also have updated filter module, which is based on D7X technology and platform. So super excited about that. Michael, what are you talking about, rhyme basis? Luckily, you're muted when you tried to explain that.
I totally can't wait to play with V8. I was just reading what Shuk was writing, and I could have just been coincidental, but
that probably was coincidental. But anyway, super excited about that. Like I said, it's got some integrations with the D7X technology platform that Nick has been working hard on, and that comes in the form of the Kill 'em all and the updated filter module protections. So everything is looking great there. Thousands of more SRP protections to help protect you from various locations and things like that. Michael, your camera froze awesomely, by the way.
what? Oh, why? I need a new camera. I'm gonna have to get a new camera.
I'm pretty sure it's the OS, not the camera. But also on top of that, one of the other really big SRPs that we have in version 8 is the Windows script host being able to be disabled. That's a very common trend with a lot of the newer ransomware. They're starting to use Windows script host and the various scripting files that can be used with that to activate and implement their ransomware activities, such as encrypting your files and deploying payloads and things like that. And being able to disable that is going to help protect immensely. So otherwise, we have lots and lots of new file extensions on there and that are being watched and blocked. And really, we have literally thousands of more SRP locations being blocked. Michael, do you remember what the version 7 SRP max was?
For what, the total?
Yeah, for version 7.
Yeah, so it was, oh, I just had a
It was like 900 something, wasn't it?
No, I have it right here. So if we want to apply maximum, I'm applying it right now. And it would be 372.
Oh, so 372 SRP policies compared to version 8, which has, I believe, on the minimum, it was over 1,000.
Over 1,000.
It was over 2,500, I believe. I'm double checking right now. I got it pulling up here. Oh, of course it's going to load slow as.
But the big point in this, we're not just trying to throw out big numbers here. The big point in this is that at the same level of protection, let's say default, just by chance, let's say that's what you have applied, you will get a significant increase in the level of protections that you're currently experiencing. So everyone sort of gets a free protection upgrade out of that without any drawbacks whatsoever, as far as we can see. So we're really pleased to offer that to everyone out there, and it's just kind of baked in. It's nothing that you have to really do to enable existing policies in place that currently have, for instance, default or another plan will be upgraded to the new protections in those levels.
Yep. Previously on the maximum for version 7, we had 300 and some, you said, Michael? That's a good enough estimate.
372.
Yeah, so we had 372 on the maximum plan. On the default plan, we have over 2,500. If you go up to the maximum plan, I believe it gets upwards of 3,500, close to 4,000, and then depends on how many users you have on the system that it may add additional ones. But yeah, tons and tons of new software restriction policies. So more locations, more items are blocked through that. The filter module, like I said, it's been completely redesigned from the ground up as well, and does a lot better running various programs. So previously version 7 had some issues running click to play or click once or click to run
Microsoft click to run with the filter module, and a lot of that's been all of that's been resolved. So you should be able to enable that the filtering module for all your executables in version 8 without pretty much without exception. I mean, there may be some scenario where that presents a problem. I think it's still technically, we're going to say it's beta, but it's in all the testing that I've been able to do, it has not thrown a hiccup for me, and I expect that to be the same. That means that protections that might have been off limits to certain individuals, particularly those running later versions of Office, and by that I mean Office versions later than 2010, you'll now be able to enable this protection without that limitation. So that's very exciting as well. So we've not gotten rid of anything here. We've just given you a ton more options for protections, and you can combine all of these methods. And they're sort of layered, if you consider the honeypot particularly. The layering of security is always, I believe, it's usually a sound good policy that people the larger security firms recommend.
So it is extremely good. Thanks, RTM Tech. We thought the quantity split on white label was good. And just a point to mention out there as well, you get a significant discount on your per license copy. If you go and try to break it down, your per license copy of getting a higher number bulk pack will get you a very significant discount. I believe it was like upwards of 75% off on some of them, but that's some fuzzy math there. But either way, if you get a 10-pack, you still get a good discount. If you get a 25, 50, 100, 250, 500, you get increasing amounts of discounts per license basis. So definitely check that out. And like I said, definitely check out the version 7 keys right now. Those will be lifetime of the product keys, so they will continue to get updates and all the premium features for the lifetime of the product, where the version 8 ones, if you purchase after version 8 comes out, you will no longer be able to get the unlimited A, and you will have either a year or a 3-year option for the length of the premium features. So good there. I think we got it all talked out. And last call for everyone to please test out CryptoPrevent version 8 if you haven't already. Give us some feedback on that. If you do find any problems, we're in the last stages of adding a few things here and there and verifying things on our end. So definitely, if you find any issues testing version 8 beta right now, feel free to let us know, and we will get that into the final release as well. On top of that, I do want to go ahead and let you know that we do have plans, and part of the reason why we took so long and rewrote everything from scratch was so that we can have easier updatability, and going forward updates will be a lot more frequent and easier for us on the back end, which means it will get to you faster. And we have quite a few plans already laid out. We're not going to be able to include those with the release, but as we move forward in months, we're going to add in features and other abilities that we're going to continue testing on and working on coming up. And we have several other things that we're looking into as far as options. So definitely exciting times, I feel. All right, so we got all that.
Do you want to talk about Management Console at all, or you want to hold off?
Let's say hold off until we get something with that. So. But now that you just threw that out there, let's get into some of the other things that what Proctor said we are looking into and working on. So that'll come after version 8 release, though. So otherwise, yep. Lots of people are, Shuk. Lots of people are, and trust me, this is something we definitely have high on our priority list. So, but that's all I want to get into about it right now. I don't like getting into too much before we have too much laid out. So, past that, it looks like Phoenix is already adding some links and things here.
Sorry about that.
Check those out. What, Michael?
Nothing. The Bing, I might have made the.
He dinged me.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't ding Proctor. Gosh, why are you dinging him? Let's see what kind of links Phoenix has got for us. Donald Trump's email servers are horribly insecure. Yep, and I would have been able to guess that from a mile away. Now, I don't know if that's for his campaign or his official actions. And again, remember, Trump has different regulations versus Clinton having top-level security clearances and government emails and contacting and things like that. So
yeah, there's no
difference there. And a lot of that stuff was talking about his hotels and his company and various things. So.
Yeah, I hesitate to propagate news stories like that just seem to be just, politically motivated and not.
I do feel like it's a good story, though, with him calling her out so much that he doesn't have his own
hypocrisy. Yes, but when you dig apart the details, for instance, how many people, if you're using a Gmail account, are you considered to be using an insecure, email system? What is the criteria, and what are they judging that by? Exactly, and what, and if traveling and other things and mitigating.
I believe in that case of that article, they were talking about servers that were extremely outdated and self-maintained, and then like default passwords.
And these were servers that were owned by Trump himself.
Well, his companies and hotel chains and things like that.
Oh, his hotel chains. Oh, I thought you. Oh, well, that's okay. That's a little bit more serious. I thought you meant that he was just going out and staying in hotels that might have, had it proper. But that makes sense. It would be his hotels.
Yeah, no, this is his stuff that they're talking about. But again, like I said, he's got different standards on his stuff than Clinton had on her stuff, so it's a slightly different story there. But
And also, you would need to judge it in comparison to the grand state of hotel internet security, and I'm sure that's not, there's not a consistently high bar there on that. Reporting on just one random player is also irresponsible if the problem is, rampant in the industry as well. So.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll move on from all this political nonsense. Police scan 117 million driver's license photos for face recognition. Yeah, I saw a lot of.
Didn't we talk about that when it was actually happening? Isn't that sort of a rehash of stuff we kind of already know about?
Well, I know that a lot of articles have come out saying, "Oh, the feds have a half of America in a facial."
But we've talked about it before. But yeah, the DMV.
I mean, we've
just the
talked
voting,
about. Yeah,
the very fact that you've had pictures on driver's licenses for since the inception of them. I mean, I'm not so. Our government has always had access to that data, and maybe now they're data mining it and using big data algorithms to glean more information out of it. But nothing has really changed in that regard, and so again, another case of the headlines being a little bit more exciting than the bulk of the story. But
well, I had another good one. I'm trying to see if I can find it here, but there was a case where
Malwarebytes acquires
somebody got mistaken because of their photo, their facial recognition stuff, and that I think is the more important thing here.
Well, like for instance, my driver's license photo at this point in time is more than 8 years old, I believe, or somewhere around there. So I look considerably different today, facial hair wise and otherwise. So it's not exactly the most accurate information, and a lot of states don't require that be updated as frequently as they used to, I think, in the past. So yeah, I could see that to be a problem.
Oh, here we go. So this is how facial recognition mismatch can ruin your life. And apparently there was a bank robbery, which none of the bank robbers were wearing a mask or anything. So they had clear pictures of the people. Mm-hmm. They used that against the facial recognition database and ended up matching someone, and it basically
wasn't him.
Completely incorrect. So.
Mm. And it's my understanding, though, very much like lie detector stuff, there's certain testimonies that aren't that can't be submitted as evidence.
It still is a big issue, the fact that they came to someone's house, probably busted in SWAT style, arrested someone, and he had to go through and deal with the whole.
And there's also times
and all that stuff. So.
There's also been times where they've gone in certain situations, not so much recently, but there's been times historically where they've gone in guns blazing too, when they thought somebody was, going to do a significant crime, or did, So yeah, I worry about that, as well.
Okay. So some other links he's got here. Russian hacker who was wanted by the FBI, arrested in Prague. Great job. Web-based open source, web-based KeePass, KeeWeb, works well with KeePass as well. And I'm kind of iffy on that whole thing. I wouldn't put my KeePass thing on the web and have it accessible, even if it is open source. I'm more concerned about the configuration setup and changes and things like that. Probably a little bit not good.
Phoenix says there's no server involved.
That makes it even more scary. Where is it hosting all of that stuff then? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's self-hosted, then you have to worry about encrypting and making sure it's locked down from your side. So someone is probably going to look at that and want to set it up on their computer and have it accessible to the public, and so that they can get to it. And that's just, it's not going to be good. I'll look into it a little bit more. I haven't looked at it or seen anything or heard anything about it. So
Yeah, I believe in lowering attack surface, in general, not increasing it, and this would just be increasing it.
yeah. Well, I don't know exactly what it does, so we'll look into it and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Phoenix says it works fine, so either that's cool or we will have access to all his passwords.
Yeah.
So we'll check it more into that. Phoenix always brings some good stuff, so I'm just saying first impression without having looked at or seen or known anything about it.
I know if you ask all the security camera vendors, are their cameras secure? They'll answer yes, but I'm pretty sure we know that's not the case.
So he also posted Flaw and Intel CPUs could help attackers defeat
Oh, I love flaws. Where's that?
ASLR exploit defense.
Oh, where is that? Is that
Good.
just reposted? Okay. Going back. I see it now.
And then T-Mobile is going to have to pay $48 million in settlement for throttling customers with heavy data usage on their unlimited plans. And I believe it was more of the fact that they were misleading plans, basically, is what I gathered from the articles I saw on it. Let's see, is that the Engadget one? Nope, he did the PC World one. So I'll do the Engadget one, which they have a slightly different title here. So it was misleading data plans, I believe, is what they were going for, basically offering unlimited, but then you ended up getting throttled or cut off or charged because it wasn't actually unlimited. So Google is turning spreadsheet documents and presentations into to-do lists. That seems like a completely unhelpful thing.
So regarding the ASLR is as you should know, address space layout randomization, and so there's the branch target buffer is being used as a side channel for communication between processes because all processes share a branch target buffer which holds the ASLR addresses. And it's for performance, but it's a cache basically. But yeah, this is there's mitigations to it though, and it's not the flaw can be addressed through software, but also via hardware improvements. Now, obviously, you can't exactly upgrade your hardware, but Microsoft, or not Microsoft, but rather Intel does put out microcode updates, and so you might get a BIOS update at some point in the future which improves that situation somewhat, but it can be addressed.
What's the attack vector here? Like, who does this affect?
Well, I guess it would affect anyone. So what address space layout randomization?
No. Like, so you're saying right now my computer is possibly in.
Okay, so you would have to be running a particular crafted code to look at BTB collisions, and apparently it can be done, in around 60 so it's trivial to do. But
like, how do you get to this point, and what does it enable you? You as an attacker, how would you?
Okay, so at this point, all I would know is that, in other words, I would know where things were in memory. So at this point, I could say to antivirus software, I would know where Norton is in memory, or any commercial antivirus piece.
No, Michael, you're skipping all the important parts. How would you get to my computer right now? So you would have to first get access.
Oh, you'd have to run something on your computer. Yeah, you'd have
to have access to my computer first, and probably it sounds like some of the things you're talking about would require administrative privileges.
I'm not even clear on that. You can tell when a branch target buffer is being flushed. So I think I'm not so sure that's protected in any way, but it's possible. It might require administrative privileges, but
then you would just be able to see where things are in memory.
yeah, but but this would obviously look.
And that
This would be used
you could
by
use it for other
a
things
malicious
that
piece
would
of software to
definitely
disable
require.
security software.
You
So
would-
you've already been compromised if you've got something running on your computer that's going to disable your security software. This is basically, though, giving those people who've already made that compromise happen the ability now to disable those things. And yeah, if you have your computer buried, in a vault underground with the lock, and it's not accessible to the outside world, or yeah, it's safe. There's no communication, but
Okay.
everyone clicks on ransomware and malware every single day, and this is going to give those guys
All right.
much better leverage. So.
But yeah, so it's a post-compromise thing, and then they would probably have to have administrative access to do any kind of actual work with whatever they read from memory at that point, is what I'm gathering from what you said.
I don't know so much about the administrative part of it, but yeah, I mean.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna take out antivirus in memory and just knowing where it is in memory,
yeah, that's true.
about
That's
it
true.
without administrative access.
Probably need to do some other things.
And that's kind of where I want to go if we have exploits and things like that come up, is let's break it down to who is really at risk here, not just, oh, there's an exploit and give a bunch of whole technical data that doesn't make any sense to anyone. Like now it's something that once your system is compromised, a attacker can use to further compromise your system. It's not something that's going to compromise your system. It's not something that is out there and they can just scan the internet and get to your computer. Like, I think that's threat level is something that isn't done a lot. Like people announce threats and then they're not like, this is who should be concerned about this. Like maybe some DEF CON levels, like.
But listen, with as much telemetry data being reported, why couldn't just per chance maybe a legitimate piece of Microsoft software be tracking those sorts of things, and it's somehow reporting that information, and then that's accessible.
You don't think Microsoft knows where things are in RAM?
No, I know they do, but that's the point. If they were to send that information part of a bug report.
But if Microsoft has access to all of that information, you're running their OS.
Information, but what
it doesn't matter about the exploit.
It could be intercepted during the transmission, so it may not even require.
But that's not even related to the exploit you're talking about, Michael.
Not per se, but
it's not at all. Not at all related to the exploit. That's a completely different thing. Now you're just getting onto Microsoft privacy and data BS, which does not matter at all. Microsoft doesn't need to use an exploit to figure out where things are in memory. They know where things are in memory. If you're running Windows, Windows knows where stuff is in memory.
I get that, but if they don't know to protect that information, which they, I don't trust that every programmer that's coding every line of code for Windows.
Protecting that information, what are you talking about?
Because
the only time it's on your computer, and if they send it off, you already know that they do encrypt and do everything as far as their telemetry data.
Yeah, I don't necessarily trust that, but whatever.
It's not like they're sending it over plain text FTTP or FTP.
Well,
because if they were, I'm sure a lot more people would be upset about what they're transmitting.
They could be using one of those primes that are backdoored. I mean, there's all sorts of concerns.
They don't have any access to it. So, anyway, let's see what else we got. Scientists are testing out nanoparticles that can stop cancer in its tracks. I'm very excited about nanorobots. I think those will be cool and helpful for medicine.
Yeah.
We talked about
cure the cancer they put in for and cause a whole new type of cancer 6 months later. I don't know. Time will tell, I suppose.
Quark, I do not believe we talked about that on Monday. I'm pulling up the article right now to see a little bit more about it. FTC says it may be unable to regulate Comcast, Google, and Verizon.
Oh yeah, so yeah, there was the court passed a ruling that said that they didn't have to the common carrier law, they were always common carriers and could never be classified otherwise. Anyway, it'll basically allows them to get around oversight, and if that holds up, then any leverage that they had to
As far as what though? As far as their internet stuff, or
yeah, as far as being able to enforce like net neutrality, for instance.
would that not fall under the FCC, not the FTC?
Oh, what are we talking about? Oh, sorry, we're talking about something else. I misheard.
The FTC is the ones complaining that they might not have any ability to regulate larger corporations like that for consumer protection rules. But as far as the internet stuff goes, I believe that would fall under the FCC, and they do have the ability to regulate those companies. But I'm assuming maybe it's because Comcast, Google, and Verizon are offering their own products, that's where it would fall under the FTC, so the Federal Trades Commission versus the Federal Communications Commission. Maybe that's what they're talking about. It's an in-depth article to read. So
Where is it? What's this one? I'm having trouble. What is it?
Futures Tech Court posted two things. Hey Brantley, did you talk about this on Monday? And also Michael. Probably want to just look at also Michael, because that will be something better for you to talk about.
I got it. I see it.
Yeah, and Phoenix agrees and says not if the FCC has something to say about it, and that's what I was thinking. Is probably the FCC will end up stepping in and taking over if those things come to terms. So yeah, RTM Tech points out the Federal Trade Commission Act regulates any deceptive trade practices that are considered harmful to customers.
Well, that is the same article.
That means if they're providing goods, not the services that those companies are more often providing, because their services, I believe, fall under.
What this article has to do with is what, okay, is the FTC, apparently the common carrier thing applies to the FTC as well. While the FTC's charter, I'm quoting, while the FTC's charter from Congress prohibits it from regulating common carriers, the agency has previously exercised authority to regulate these companies when they offer non-common carrier services, which is what they do at times. But the recent court ruling said that AT&T is immune from the FTC oversights entirely, even when it's not acting as a common carrier. So,
well, again, I feel like the FCC pulls in at that time where the communications stuff.
Well, the more the better. These guys need to have oversight of everyone. Right? They go across boundaries a little bit, and I don't think the internet as it is today was ever conceived of when they originally created these organizations.
Definitely was not. So speaking of the internet and today, oh yeah, and AdwCleaner was purchased by Malwarebytes. Speaking of the internet as it is today, I did not know about this yet, and I came across it in an article, and they did not point out, obviously this person lives in a very populated area, but you would only see this option if you live in an area where there is a Amazon locker near you, which so far it looks like, I believe that picture was probably taken around Seattle, so obviously Seattle has a very high population, so they have Amazon lockers out there. The only ones we were able to find in close to this state were Charlotte. Charlotte has about 4 locations with Amazon lockers. Otherwise, I saw there's some in Denver, but you can use this page to look and see if you have any Amazon lockers around you. And What's interesting about that is the ability to have things mailed to you from Amazon and have them in a secure, stored, probably 24-hour access location. So I was saying that would be great for like when I lived in an apartment, or even now when I live here. UPS, FedEx leave packages on your doorstep. It's not as bad at a home or a house or something, but in an apartment, I just thought that was absolutely insane. Like, I'm at work all day. They obviously come to the apartment during the day while I'm at work. They leave my packages in front of the door, and there's a whole freaking hallway of people, not to mention anyone in the building can usually get to any floor, so they can just start picking up packages and take them home.
Yeah,
And it's like Christmas every day for them.
I lived in a college apartment, and then I had a delivery, or I just started getting deliveries. You could start to internet was, that thing was just kind of starting back then. But at any rate, I had one of my first ones delivered, stolen. And I very much believe that it was the person next door, because they were wearing the contents of the box.
Sorry, it's like you obviously knew they stole it. Like they come out the next day and they got a shirt that says Michael #1.
Well, it wasn't.
Like, did you take my package? No, don't know what you're talking about.
It wasn't that bad.
I just think you're #1.
But since these companies tend to produce and ship thousands and hundreds of thousands and maybe even millions of these units, it's how does that even hold up? Just because two people have the same shirt doesn't necessarily mean one stole it from the other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it gets harder when it's things that aren't relatable to outside stuff too.
But I think it reinforces what you were saying, that
that's
been a problem for a long time.
Yeah, it's not something that the internet brought about. This is something that, since they started delivering packages and people no longer were at home, it's there. RTM Tech says someone invented a device that blows up when your package is stolen. It sprays the thief with poop. That's amazing. If you have a link to that, please post that. And Phoenix, yes, that is a good call. It's called a Samsung Galaxy 7 or washing machine. Those are the only two. You can't just say all Samsung products, because that's not true. Like, the Samsung Galaxy 7 Edge is not blowing up on me, and I've been charging it and charging it and charging it, and it hasn't blown up. So they do make good products. I have some other Samsung things that haven't blown up on me as well. It's just their washing machine and their Note 7. So also sounds like chemical warfare. Spraying poop on people.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about this, but the ebook readers and things like that, I mean, they traditionally haven't had to have a tremendous amount of storage, because generally those contents were relatively slim on the usage. But as comic books and other very image heavy content
things,
has become popular. They're having, at least Kindle looks, and especially in Japan, Kindle has had to upgrade their models by a factor of 8. I thought that was interesting, because almost all the ebooks that I have been so incredibly light on the.
Are you gonna link to whatever you're talking about there?
Oh yeah, sure. Here's a link. Yeah, all the ebooks that I typically purchase, especially through Google, they don't seemingly have but 1 or 2 or 3 images in them, if that. You're lucky to get the cover.
So before we get too far away from the packages thing, I wanted to also mention that's part of why I have cameras set up on my door and porch, is so I can monitor packages. If I happen to be out while they come, or if I'm traveling at the time, I don't want those packages to be taken, or at least want to have some evidence of who took them and things like that. So that's about 75% of the reason why I have my porch and front door covered with cameras. The other 25% is so I can see who's at the door, because that's kind of a nice feature as well. But I just wanted to throw that out there. And also relating on the ebook scandal, or the ebook upgrade thing, apparently the Spanish police arrested their first ever ebook pirate.
Oh,
That's probably one of the first times I've heard about that happening too. I know that
crazy.
ebooks are rampantly pirated as far as I'm aware. Like, it's almost impossible for an ebook to not be pirated, from my understanding.
Well, I mean, it depends. Well, I mean, there are mechanisms, but yeah, that's what I want to know. Most interested in how they caught the person, what sort of blatantly thing he was doing. Like, for instance, you read about the one where the guy was downloading movies and posting them to his site, or posting a copyrighted material. At any rate, they found him because he put his real first and last name in his website address and his URL.
Nice.
I mean,
probably something like that. I mean, that's how Silk Road fell. So
yeah, human error.
So RTM Tech posted the Poopy Trap link if anyone's interested.
What?
In their products.
Where is that? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. All right.
I'm wondering how that works. Like, do you have to mail it to the person before they mail it to you, or I'm trying to pull the page up now to see
Are
what's.
you serious? Are you serious?
While we look into that, I wanted to point out this other article about the security issues using Airbnb. This doesn't apply to us so far, Proctor, but the last one I thought was a fairly interesting point, that the Wi-Fi there could be possibly dangerous. Essentially, they give you Wi-Fi access and internet access, and you don't know what the host is doing as far as monitoring and tracking and data logging and things like that, and B, you don't know, which was the more concerning side, is you don't know what other previous guests have done to that Wi-Fi, because physical access is 90% of the time you have full access at that point. So they can reconfigure things, set up Trojan droppers, various logging techniques, and things like that on systems before it goes out, before they leave. And then every person that's a guest at that Airbnb place again could be possibly compromised. So that was. Thank you for unmuting for that cough, Roger. It's very appreciative.
Oh, sorry.
Like, you unmuted like you were about to talk.
Yeah, I was going to talk and then I had to cough.
What were you going to say? Something about the Airbnb thing? Or?
Oh, I was going to say, I guess we'll just have to take our own router and plug it directly into the internet source.
That's a good possibility, or at the least verifying what they have set up and things like that might be a good thing. I'm still going to use a VPN. That's your best option, is make sure you use a VPN if you're connecting through anything that you don't trust. So so this poopy box was a prank setup. So if you know somebody's stealing your packages, then you can set something up to do that. It doesn't help if you have packages you're waiting on. So thank you for that. And what were you talking about? DNA tests for jobs?
Oh, well, I'm concerned, although they mentioned that, if you were going into a management position, that your DNA would be tested for certain markers that would indicate, aptitude in certain areas. And it's debatable on whether or not there's any sort of real guidelines right now, from, health agencies and things like that onto what these things should
Or
be.
employment things.
And
If they do DNA testing, they could say, "Oh, you're not a leader. We don't want you in management." And is that good enough to
they're
rule
being
you
so
out?
broad. Well, see, that's the thing I don't understand. If you can't judge somebody based upon race, let's say,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
and that just jumps out, that screams in your DNA, you know. I find this, and since it's so questionable what criteria they could use, they could literally now just be using this to find a new way to turn down people, you know, for employment. I think it's a really scary proposition. I hope it never comes to pass, at least not prior to some sort of laws being ratified by it. That's, again, assuming those laws are good laws or right laws or correct laws to be put in place to begin with.
Well, I mean, like, your DNA could possibly tell you everything about it. We don't know anything about it, and it could be like, oh, this person's gonna probably has a 80% chance of dying of a heart attack in the next 3 years. We're not going to hire them because that's not worth the investment. Those kind of things could come out of DNA sequencing.
Well, I don't know if it really hurts them if somebody dies. They can always replace an employee, but
No, Michael, that's part of the hiring process, is that you don't want to hire someone that you know is going to leave within a year or 2 years.
That's one reason that older people have a harder
Exactly.
time finding employment than younger people. It's not just
It's because
they really think they're going to drop
when
dead in the next.
when a company hires someone, they're making an investment, and it takes a time for that person to be trained, set up, and the company to be able to.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the
retain the
type of
profit
position
off
you're
that.
talking about as well. And of course, the jobs that the DNA testing we're talking about in this particular article were seemingly those jobs that would require the most investment, and therefore what you're saying is completely, yeah.
And I think what RTM Tech pointed out there too is another good side of it is that the DNA for insurance companies is going to be, I feel, it needs to be far more regulated. Because if you get DNA from, or if you're trying to get insurance and they request for your DNA sample.
Wasn't there a whole bunch of sci-fi movies about all this stuff, and didn't anybody ever watch those or learn the lessons of
Probably
those?
not. They didn't take them seriously.
And now they're going to, or they took them too seriously and decided, oh, those are great business ideas. Let's.
What was that one where they were genetically modifying people?
Gattaca, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, that was a pretty good movie though.
Yeah, but you know, and it wasn't the best one to on that subject line either.
But it proved that the DNA thing didn't
Thanks, Shook.
matter as much. Like, there was more about it.
Oh yeah. There's
There's-
ones that are more on point to attacking that, and it's only scratches kind of the surface of it. And that was a long time ago. That was in the late '90s, I believe.
Yeah, but I think it pointed out good things about, like, you can't, like, there's certain things DNA probably won't be able to measure, like your work ethic and your integrity or your.
But that's the reality versus the situation of the perception is, it may be very different. For instance, somebody could lie, somebody could pay some company to put out a study that says, oh, if you have these genetic markers, you're shown to be successful, and if you have these genetic markers, you're shown to be a bum. And then they start using this test without any verification or poor science or poor sampling or poor statistical use.
Yeah, that all would play into it. I'm just saying that there's certain things that DNA is probably not going to be able to measure. Like the Gattaca movie was basically based on the fact that one kid was genetically modified and he was going to be an astronaut. The sibling wasn't genetically modified and
I don't remember the details.
More will and want to be able to be an astronaut, and he was able to replace him as an astronaut. So I think there's a lot more that goes on in that stuff. So we did start a little bit late, so we're going to keep running for a little bit here. I thought this was a pretty cool article. 3 things you can do with your old CRT monitors or LCD monitors if you have a laptop. What I thought was cool about it was there was quite a few Pi options there, turning a CRT or old monitor into a super sweet digital clock. I didn't know about that one. I did know about the retro video game console.
Talked about that a lot.
The hack your eyes only monitor, so you can set it up so that your screen looks completely white without a specific set of glasses, so you're the only one that can see what's going on there. Smart mirrors, obviously, and some other things. So check that out if you want something to do. Quite a few cool options there. I thought this was a pretty cool picture. Here's 8 hours worth of flights in one photograph. That is a lot of airplanes going out. That was pretty cool. And let's just wrap her up with some interesting YouTube videos here. So we got, first off, GOG V2 is out, the trailer for that. So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 trailer is out.
They're okay. So that wasn't just a one-off. All right, I've not followed Guardians of the Galaxy. I never was the comic book. Never.
No, they were definitely coming out with a sequel. It was extremely good. It really was probably the Star Wars of our time, and
Well, it was okay. I thought it was pretty good, but it wasn't up
It was
to.
an okay movie. I wouldn't compare it to Star Wars.
Yeah, I get.
of the generation though, what other movie has reached this generation with that amount of
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
the popularity of it? Even if y'all didn't like it, you both said it was okay.
Yeah.
Popularity of it has spread to the point where you could probably ask any kid who Groot is, and they would be able to answer you.
Oh, well.
So that same way with Star Wars.
I'm not that familiar with its general popularity.
Yeah, if you ask someone about anything in Star Wars from the Star Wars generation, they could almost all the kids would be able to tell you about it, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're comparing it to.
So, Quark, thanks so much for that article about the that weird burst and what it might be about. But did you hear about the EU craft sent up to Mars? I had high hopes.
Signal.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like, I don't know. They
What was the other one that was landing on Mars today? There was 2 space agencies supposed to go to Mars today.
There was 2. I thought it was just the EU one, but maybe I'm mistaken. There may have been an Indian Space Agency one as well, possibly. I didn't read a story about 2. I only just recently realized there was one based upon a link that someone had sent to me, and well, at any rate, they may have lost the craft. In case did I even post the? Did I post the link?
Here's the Gizmodo link. I didn't see. I'm trying to look and see while I post it so everyone can look. So the first one obviously was the ESA, and they were trying to land, and okay, maybe it was. There's 2 of them.
Just 2 sites repeating the same story.
No. It looks like the craft broke free from each other. So it was 2 different agencies, probably from there. So
Okay.
the ESA is one of them, and then the TGO, the Trace Gas Orbiter, is landing as well.
The ESA is the European Space Agency launched them both, but they had 2 craft, and one of them was the Trace Gas Orbiter, and the other one was the ExoMars, or no, Mars. I don't know.
Anyway, there's some stuff there, and so far they haven't. The one thing may not have landed, or they lost communications. They're still hopeful, but they don't have any reports from it just prior to it landing. So that's kind of like, I was talking to someone on the phone and they said they were about to crash, and I didn't hear them after that. I don't know what happened. It's like, I'm pretty sure what happened here. So some other cool YouTube things. some other cool YouTube things. I did not know, first off, that Magnus Carlsen, do any of y'all know who that is?
Magnus Carlsen, is he a bulky guy who competes in the world's strongest person contests, or?
No, he is not.
Okay.
He apparently is the 20-something-year-old grand champion of chess right now. And super young kid, has been proclaimed as a genius chess
Is he
player.
compared to the kid back in the 80s?
Bobby Fischer.
Yeah.
I don't think many people compare him. He's definitely not as crazy as Bobby Fischer was or is, which I think I have a video about that. Let's see. No, I didn't save that video. Look up Bobby Fischer on YouTube. There's some good ones. He was on.
Well, Kasparov's pretty crazy too. If
He's on Bob Hope.
talk to him long enough.
And he's like still alive and making conspiracy theories and things like that, and he looks all crazy. But
oh yeah.
anyway, this kid is pretty cool. That video I played is him playing some chess hustlers in New York City, Central Park, and for some reason Liv Tyler is there. Not quite sure, but.
Oh, I watched a movie with her. It was called Starbase 76 or something, or Space Station 76. It was a little bit weird. It was like a dramedy, I would say, very heavy on the drama, pretty light on the comedy. But yeah.
I thought he did Futures Tech Quark. I don't keep up with that industry, so let me double check him. I'll just go ahead and look it up.
Because this is like the if you're doing a bowling league, at your place or your actual.
He is a Norwegian chess grandmaster and current world chess champion, youngest grandmaster in history.
He would hold
he actually became a grandmaster at the age of 13.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So 13 years and 148 days. So that made him the youngest grandmaster in ever. He has his in-game prowess has drawn comparisons to those of former world champions Bobby Fischer, Capablanca, Simslov, and
Kasparov.
Anyway, here's the Wikipedia that I read all of that information from, so you can check it out yourself. He does seem like a pretty cool kid. I've watched a few different videos on him and seen some different things. I mean, I think maybe he'll redefine the image of chess for the world or something. Make it a rock star thing again, something like that. And since we possibly have World War III coming, maybe it'll be the same Fischer versus Russia thing again. Anyway, I thought this was a cool trailer. So Assassin's Creed has their second trailer out. There's that. I thought this was a really funny trailer. There's a Nicolas Cage movie called Army of One coming out. Apparently based on a true story about an American that thought he could talk to God, and God told him to go to Afghanistan to try to capture Osama bin Laden. And like apparently this is true. I didn't look up the details on it, but you can
heard something about that. I heard
clarity that ensues there.
No, that sounds depressing.
Russell Brand is God, so it's pretty funny.
Oh, with Russell Brand, yeah, it's probably funny.
I thought this was an awesome how it's made video. Yeah, after Mario Brothers, you're right. No other video game movie is going to compare. I heard they were thinking about redoing Mario Brothers, and I hope they do not, because Mario Brothers was possibly the best
I still have yet to see it. I've never
What?
did watch it. I thought it would be horrible. By
John
the time
Leguizamo? Come
by the
on.
time it came out, I was beyond like my kid play video games phase. So I just didn't ever get into it.
Highly recommend it. It's an extremely great movie just on its own, and John Leguizamo is a great
But it was
actor, so.
kids, right? I mean, it's a
No,
kid
it's
movie.
not a kid movie. It's an awesome freaking movie. Watch it. Seriously, Mike, watch it. If you haven't,
All right, I'll watch it. I
look,
just
look how much you've upset Quark.
I'm
He's
sorry.
about to have a heart attack right now.
I'm sorry, Gord.
You were talking bad about it.
I'm sorry. I was just so concerned that video game movies. Anyway, I'll go rewatch it. I'll go watch it.
Definitely do.
Not rewatch it. Watch it.
So, I highly recommend the how Legos are made. That is a super awesome video.
They're just stamped out, aren't they?
No, it's pretty awesome. It's actually what's really cool is the entire factory of Legos is almost 100% automated. So Legos are made almost completely automatically. The other really interesting point they had was there's after Legos are made, some of them are sent to this guy that just sits in a room and tries to come up with new Lego creations. Like that's his job. He just sits there and tries to come up with new Lego builds. It's a freaking awesome job. And then they show off some of the things that they do at Legoland, which is in Orlando, Florida. And those things looked awesome. Johnny and I have wanted to go a couple times, and it's always hit me that it's $60 a ticket to get into Legoland. So I was always kind of iffy about it. But after watching that and seeing all the stuff that they make out of Legos, it's pretty impressive. Like they have full size sculptures and statues of made purely out of Legos that you would not think of making Legos out of. Like they have a full size rhinoceros. They have a full sized big horned animal that roams in Africa. It's pretty awesome. I really liked it. I definitely probably will go to Legoland at some point now and feel like it's more worth the $60 price ticket, but still, it kind of hits me hard.
$60.
They've also sold.
You're going to buy something there too, so it's not
Yeah.
just going to be $60. It's probably going to be $360 or something like that when you get your sets.
No, I probably will not buy any Legos, but it does still seem cool, and being able to see what they've done there. Like it takes them weeks to months to complete some of those things that they do with Legos and then put them out in Legoland, and everything there is built out of Legos, so it's pretty awesome. Still awesome video. Check it out. You'll see for yourself. I thought this one was pretty cool as well, since Nick and Beavis have been talking about bowling. You can see how bowling balls are made. And I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up on this last one here.
Oh, it was the Schiaparelli lander, the Trace Gas Orbiter and the Schiaparelli lander. Okay, there we go.
Okay, thank you for that. I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up on this last video that is super awesome. I'm sure you've all heard of floppy drives being able to play music and stuff, but this is probably the best song that they could have chosen to do this with.
Is it
So
Queen?
here is the Flopotron doing What Is
Oh, I love that song. Yeah. I want to see that.
It's pretty well done with
Can I
just
play
floppy.
it?
Don't play it because
No.
it's on YouTube. So just wait 1 second and we'll be off the air here shortly. Thanks, RTM Tech. We appreciate that. And definitely, if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, check our blog later today. I'm going to repost the newsletter there. And that was announcing that CryptoPrevent 8 is coming out by Halloween. So we are getting rid of the unlimited and the lifetime licensing style and moving to a new licensing term. So get your version 7 lifetime licenses now, or the unlimited copy if you're looking for unlimited ability. And check out CryptoPrevent version 8 beta. Let us know if you have any issues or things come up with it. We definitely want to hear back from all your testing on it. Make sure it is ready for the final release. We're making some final touches here. And otherwise, we should be seeing that before Halloween. But otherwise, definitely thanks to everyone for watching and participating. We love having you all here and talking with us and come up with great conversations. We will be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Of course, we are here to provide support and answer any questions about our products and services first and foremost. So always feel free to interrupt us with that. But otherwise, give us a call or contact us, our support channels otherwise. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Take us on out.